Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Joe's Garage. Today, we're going to be changing the oil filter, and rotating the tires on this 2019 Lexus ES 350 F Sport, and I'm going to show you some tips on how to do it. Stay tuned. Guys, so while it may be very tempting to use this, don't use this, and I'll explain to you why in a second. The idea of them telling you not to use that is that if you use this, what happens is this may turn and you're not going to get this off, but this will get loose, or this will come out, and that'll create a problem. Use the device that I showed you and you should be in good shape. So I want to clarify something on the directions, or I should say on the package of the filter wrench that it comes with. It says designed for use with a 27mm or 1 1/16 socket or wrench only. Do not use the square cutout. Now what they're referring to is don't use the square cutout that's on the oil filter housing, but you have to use the square cutout that is on the adapter for this oil filter wrench. So just to give you a little clarity on that, that's how you do it. Otherwise you'll be here all day. The reason being is that there's a smaller part that removes from the oil filter canister, and that has another small little ring that I showed you, and you need to unscrew it that way, but you don't want to use that to get the whole oil filter canister off. That's what the wrench is for, and that's what the square hole, which is 3/8 inch drive, on the wrench is for, so use that. 5.5 quarts of 0W20. I'm using Mobile 1. And save your containers. Save them, I'll show you why. That's about 5.5 quarts. I'm going to fire it up, let it run for about 3 or 4 minutes. Actually, I'm going to let it get up to operating temperature. I'm going to check for any leaks, and then I'm going to see if it needs a little more oil or not. And we should be good to go. Alright, so we're going to check the oil once the engine is cool. We ran it for a little bit, make sure there were no leaks for a couple minutes. We're going to let the engine cool down, let the oil cool down, and we're going to check it at the dipstick with the engine off. Unlike the Corvette, which needs to have the engine on and at operating temperature. Everything is good, nothing is dripping or leaking. We're going to work backwards by just getting this back over, and we're going to be putting the 3 plastic push tabs back in. So I have to put the camera down to show you. Here's one of them. You're basically going to pull it out, put it in the hole, and then once it finds the hole, sometimes it can be hard to find the hole. Sounds like a personal problem, but once it's in there, push that in, and that's in. We've got 3 of them in total. Here's another one. Let's put it right here. Insert that in. You're good. The 3rd plastic piece is going to go right here. I don't know if you can see that. Pull this tab out into the hole, put it in, and voila, you're good to go. This is done. You don't need to remove this piece. You don't need to remove this screw because it can slide over. If you want to take the whole thing off, you can. Just unnecessary. And I believe that's a 10 millimeter. Again, drain plug is 15 millimeter. And then you need the wrench for underneath for the oil filter canister. Okay, to reset your oil life, you're going to open that by pushing that. Then you're going to slide over to the right into settings. Then you're going to push down and get into where it says vehicle settings, hit OK. From here you're going to scroll down to scheduled maintenance, hit OK. Scheduled maintenance, reset data, yes. The data has been reset. Alright, so now we'll go back down to oil maintenance, reset data, yes. Reset is complete. So now, when you close your thing, I guess you go back, vehicle settings, meter settings, blah blah blah. I'm going to go back to car settings. It needs time to tell me where my tires are because I actually rotated my tires. I haven't driven it yet. But when I close that, that little wrench is gone. So I'm at 39,000 miles. My next oil change will most likely be in about 5,000 miles, which puts me at about 44,000 miles and also gets me close to where I have to do some additional service on this 2019 Lexus ES 350. Alright guys, so we're going to rotate the tires now. Because it's a front wheel drive car, you want to take the front tires, or front wheels, move them to the back. You're going to take the rear tire and put it on the opposite front tire. So if it's your passenger, or say your driver rear, it goes to your passenger front. If it's your passenger rear, it's going to go to your driver front. But the front tires just go straight back. So even if you have an impact tool, it's always best when you put on your first, or when you start your lug nuts, that you do it by hand. Don't do it with a power tool. You run the risk of cross-threading, and that's just a pain in the ass. So I do it by hand, either with my fingertips like this, or now I know it's not going to be cross-threaded. Now I don't have to worry about it. You can even use the socket and just do it by hand like that, at least just for the first few turns to ensure that you're not cross-threading. I hate to admit it, but when I was a young man, before I had any real mechanical skills, I actually did cross-thread one in the process of changing a tire. It wasn't the end of the world, but I won't make that mistake again, and I hope you don't either. In the process of tightening down your lug nuts, you want to use a star pattern, meaning if you start with this one, you want to go to either here or here, but then your next one is going to be two, then your next one is going to be two away, then your next one is going to be two away. So you're kind of doing it like that. That's the right way to do it. Torque these down, and when you torque down your Lexus ES 350, whether it's the 19, 20, 21, 22, I think it goes, I don't remember what the years, I'll look it up for you. You want to torque them down to 76 foot-pounds of torque, or 103 Newton meters. I know they were all random when I took them off. Some were really tight, some were really loose. But that's why I like doing stuff myself. 76 foot-pounds of torque for each one of these lug nuts. Boom! Also, when your tires are off, that's a good time to inspect your brakes, your brake pads, your rotors. My rotors look like they're getting ready to be replaced, which I'll do on another episode. And my brake pads are about halfway killed, so it may be time to take care of these brakes soon, but when your wheels are off, it's a good time to look at them. Alright, so as mentioned earlier, when you're torquing down these lug nuts, I have mine set at 76 foot-pounds of torque. Going to go in a star formation or opposite formation. And that's how you lug nut or tighten up your lug nuts. That's how you tighten up your lug nuts. Stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, Joe's Garage. Woo-hoo-hoo!